The nice thing about having like a retail store like I have, for those who don't follow the channel, my name is Jay. I've had this retail store here in Dunnville, Ontario for over 20 years now. It's basically like records, like physical media, vintage clothing, vintage everything. I just, mid-century modern furniture, pottery, toys, all the stuff. I just, I love it all. But the nice thing about having a store like this is that you begin to get to know a lot of pickers. Now, American pickers sort of change things. Back when I started, which was about 35 years ago, pickers didn't have retail stores. Those weren't pickers, those were dealers. Pickers were guys who just went to the places and then sold to dealers. They didn't, sometimes they set up at a flea market or something, but generally they were door knockers. They went into the old farmhouses and knocked and asked, do you have any old antiques and that sort of thing. But I have guys who usually they collect other stuff and then the stuff that they're not interested in, but they know I would be, they will pick up for me sometimes. And obviously they sell it at a profit from what they got it at. And I recently got a call from just one of those fellows. He has brought me records before. He buys storage units. He does a lot of garage sailing. He just generally is a true picker. And he called me up and said, hey, Jay, I got a bunch of records. Not a huge amount, but and he named a few titles, and it was good titles. And I said I would love to see them. And he brought them in, and man, they did not disappoint. If you're into like metal or sort of 80s hair metal too, you're going to want to stick around for this. So yeah, let's just go see what I got. Okay, so that is the stack. And like I said, it's not a big stack, not at all. But it is, I think there's around 40 records in there. The quality of the records is higher. There's nothing crazy rare in here, but at the store, as soon as I get any metal, hair metal, like thrash, anything at all, it literally goes out the next day. So this stuff is like, for me, it's like gold. It is a good sort of mix of that with some 80s sort of hair metal. I already said, how many times am I going to say hair metal? Anyways, so basically he was driving around a town. He wasn't even thinking about going to garage sales that day, but he ended up kind of going down some back roads. And he hit 4 or 5, and then he rolled up on this one. And the guy, he said, how much for the records? How much are your records? And the guy's like, I don't know, $5. He's like, oh, okay, $5 each is a bit. And he was like, no, man, like $5 for the box. And my friend was like, that's not, no. He's like, I'll give you like $25. So that cost him $25. And when he brought them to me, he's like, I'd like to make $100 on it. Which I was sort of like, no, that's too low. So I gave him, I can't even remember, I think it was around 200. Actually, it might have been 175 because I think I said 200. He said, no, I don't want that much. And then, he said I was hoping for 150. And, that's sort of where we landed. So this is, we'll go through it real quick. The nice thing about this one is Twisted Sisters Under the Blade. Oh, geez, my skateboard fell. This is a UK pressing. It's still in the shrink. It's on the secret label. I don't know if I can get this out to show you with one hand, because those who follow the channel. Ooh, it's got some staining on there. It's only on the outer. I've already gone through these, but there you go. Now, one or two of these do have some scratches. Luckily, it's titles that I already have, like the Ted Nugent and things like that. But the ones that I'm really interested in are actually pretty clean. That's really clean. But that's made in England, so that's a UK pressing on there. I know people are screaming like, you shouldn't touch the records with your hands. I know. But I also have a spin clean and an ultrasonic cleaner, there will, once they've been run through there will be no fingerprints whatsoever. Trust me. Priests Unleashed in the East. AC/DC's Highway to Hell. Some of the covers are, you know, like not terrible, but I've sort of put them in, you know, the good plus to VG range, whereas some of the other ones are, you know, a lot better. Iron Maiden's Killers. I have to check this one with mine because my copy is from when I was actually, when this came out when I was a teenager, and it's a little beat, so this one's probably better. Women and Children First. ZZ Top's Eliminator. This one, I went looking to compare Too Fast for Love, to compare my copy, and I couldn't find my copy, so this one might be staying with me, and I'll have to see which one it is too. So these are all, by the way, because I am located in Canada, all of these, with the exception of that Twisted Sister, I believe all of them are Canadian copies. So there's an Ozzy EP, which I don't have. It's pretty rad. It's Randy. Quiet Riot's Mental Health. Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. And it's got, it's a reissue, but it has, you know, it's like probably a 70s or 80s, late 70s or early 80s reissue. Ozzy's Bark at the Moon. Van Halen's 1984. I love that record. I know it's their big giant pop record, but there's just something about it. AC/DC's Flick of the Switch. Not super familiar with Heaven, I'm not gonna lie. So is it Heaven's Bent or Heaven Bent? Yeah, so there you go. Not familiar with that. Anvil, this I'm familiar with. Forged in Fire. Triumph's Never Surrender, a great Canadian band. And there's the record with the inner on there. Another Canadian band, Nature of the Beast. Again, not metal, but like harder rock. Teenage Head, this is punk. This is great. If for my American friends, and even those in the UK and places like that, you probably might have heard of Teenage Head. They're from literally 40 minutes away from here. They're legends. I mean, I love Teenage Head, and Frantic City is a great record. Zeppelin 4. Sabbath's We Sold Our Souls. Screaming for Vengeance. Got a little bit of tape and a little bit of dings on there, but, you know, still, for the guy who just wants the record. Crocus Headhunters. Zappa in New York's 2-disc set. AC/DC's Power Age. And Ozzy's Blizzard. Somebody just asked me for that the other day. I sold the only copy I had. That's the record itself in there. Maiden's Peace of Mind. I bought that when it came out when I was a kid. I also bought this, and it terrified my parents. Unfortunately, the cover on this one, not so great. It's got some tape all along there, but it's got the original inner. Doesn't have the order forms and stuff like that. Nazareth. The Nuge. AC/DC. More AC/DC. More Nuge. More Nuge. The Headpins, another Canadian band. Kim Mitchell, another Canadian artist. Judas Priest's British Steel. Every collection has a copy of Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. Molly Hatchet's one of the greatest covers ever. Like, just is. It's indisputable. Killer Dwarfs, another Canadian hair metal band. Coney Hatch, another Canadian band. And that was it. Now, Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell was there, but it has Rush's Exit Stage Left and Fly By Night in there, so instead of the Meatloaf. So that's it. So yeah, that's it. This is a really super quick video because it was only 40 titles, but again, it's just to sort of say, because the stuff, you know, it's slowing to a trickle at this point, and I've gone over this many times, especially out in the wild at garage sales. I don't find records anymore. Sometimes if I ask, hey, do you have any, people will drag out a crate. And this kind of stuff, it really isn't around that much. So, you know, to get, you know, it's only 40 records, but it's still a bunch of really good titles that I get asked for over and over and over again. So I'm just happy to be able to pass these on to other people, because my customers, you know, I put up a flip video every week. I'll put the links to the store and some of the other things on there. I am also doing a flip through my own record collection alphabetically, and you can, if you're interested, you can check that out. But basically, when I put that flip video out, if there is metal of any kind in it, any metal, any hip hop, and anything from the 90s, it is gone that day. Like literally, people just come right to the store or they message me right away. So it's going to be, it's fun to be able to offer stuff like this to people. So yeah, that's it. Pretty good. I think it worked out to less than $5 a record, which, some of them are just $5 records, but some of them are a lot better than that. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys are able to actually find some stuff when you're out there. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.